What's up, DC Back to another video on DCEU movies. Now guys, today we'll be talking about the David Ayer cut of Suicide Squad. And guys, this is pretty much rumors have been going around, but I waited to do this video because I want a little more context and information. I didn't want to just jump the gun and think about, oh, I got a little sources. No, I actually have some more context on it, and I'm going to give it to you guys today. Now, for some of that context, the whole background of this movie and what the original Suicide Squad movie was, I'm going to explain to you. So, what the original Suicide Squad movie actually was, it was more Joker, we saw more Enchantress, we had Steppenwolf, the Parademons, we had a lot of stuff in that film. It actually sounds better, in my opinion, actually. Like, I actually like that more. Because in that movie, for Joker at first, Jared Leto's Joker, he didn't have that much in the one we got. So, the one that actually got released, the Suicide Squad, he was barely in it. And I know a lot of people complained about his version of the Joker. Even I was like, it's okay. Like, I didn't do a video on it because I didn't have a channel back then. But still, I was like, when I actually saw the movie, I was like, man, his Joker was alright, but it just felt like he was so extra. Like, he didn't do that much in the film. Like, okay, he saved Harley. We had some flashbacks of him and Harley. But it just felt like he was there because Harley was there. Not because, oh, he's the Joker and he's causing chaos. That's all it felt like. So that wasn't that really good. But turns out, he actually had a lot of scenes in the movie that just got cut out. So, in the trailer, you see him a bunch. Like, guys, in the trailer, you see so many scenes of him. Oh, a bunch of those scenes are cut out. And David Ayer even, like, tweeted, he said, I feel so sad for Jared Leto because all his best scenes, like, he did a lot of great work and that got cut out. And the main reason for this was WB was trying to cut pretty much the Suicide Squad movie a little down because after, like, the reception of Batman v Superman, which it had mixed reception. When Batman v Superman came out, some people were like, oh, it was an awesome movie. Some people thought it was trash. So a lot of people were in the middle. I was kind of like the middle. I was like, alright, there's some great moments in this movie, but it was a little rushed. But still, with that, pretty much WB got a little scared. It's like, you know what, let's cut a little out of Suicide Squad. We don't want the same thing to happen, which I think that was actually a bad idea because this original cut, when I read more about it, it actually sounds really interesting. Like, you see Joker, you have more flashback scenes with him and Harley. There's even one that's really interesting with him and Harley. Pretty much Harley was riding like a motorcycle, I think. But you see pretty much more of that relationship like develop where it actually gives it more context. In the movie, it just felt like, alright, if you're a comic book fan, you know what's happening. But if you're new to the film, you kind of have to piece it together, which is really hard when a bunch of those pieces are missing from the film. And guys, pretty much what's going to happen is in the third act of the film, Joker would team up with Enchantress, and in the end, Joker and Harley would become like the king and queen of Gotham. So he would take over Gotham City, and that would lead into Justice League. And there's actually supposed to be a scene in the Snyder Cut, which I hope we get when it comes out on HBO Max in 2021, that pretty much Joker and Harley in like an alleyway, and they're walking, and the whole Justice League just comes down in front of them to stop them. Like, that's a really cool scene, and the Suicide Squad sets it up perfectly. Now, guys, enough about the Joker. If it ever happens, like this David Ayer cut actually comes out, I'd like to see more of that. Like, Jared Leto, he's probably one of the weakest Jokers, but it's not really his fault. He didn't get really a chance to show his potential. Like, he was in a couple scenes that may have been the worst that were, like, pretty much filmed. Like, his best scenes were cut out. But yeah, guys, other than that, with Enchantress, in the film, turns out that she was actually not just being evil to be evil. Like, in the film, it shows, okay, she gets released, her evil side, she teams up with her brother, tries to take over the city, Suicide Squad's the fighter, and her whole motivations are kind of all over the place. Like, Suicide Squad, the movie, I didn't think it was a bad movie. I actually liked it. I thought it was pretty solid. But this whole cut actually makes, I feel like it could be an even greater film and could have segued into Justice League a lot better. But here it turns out Steppenwolf was the villain. So Steppenwolf came to Earth and actually took over Enchantress with like a mother box, and he had Parademons go all over the city. Instead of like Enchantress like taking over people and like transforming them, pretty much they transformed into Parademons instead. I think that'd been a lot better. Seeing Parademons going against the Suicide Squad, that would've been dope. And then also having Enchantress, pretty much her not being really the villain, just being manipulated, and pretty much Rick Flag actually have a reason to save her other than, hey, I love Jew Moon. Like, in the movie, it didn't really make a lot of sense. But in this cut, it makes a lot more sense because there's more context. And also, Steppenwolf, I don't feel like he's a villain for Justice League. Because, like, yeah, he could be like a villain against Justice League, but not the main villain. Like in the Snyder Cut, Darkseid will be the main villain. That'll make a lot more sense. It'll be more epic. And Steppenwolf would be a better villain for Suicide Squad than Enchantress. Because pretty much just write off Enchantress off of like the first movie, killing her off. I feel like that's wasting a lot of potential because she has a lot of storylines and story arcs in the comics that you could utilize in like future films. But in this cut, having her actually be alive, Steppenwolf get destroyed, but it pretty much leads into Darkseid be like, alright, that was our first invasion, now we're going full on against Justice League. That'd been cool, and would connect all these films a lot better. Now guys, another thing in this film was actually Katana. Now, Katana, she actually had a big part in the film with Enchantress actually took over her. So she actually possessed her, and Katana when gets killed Croc, it actually shows in the trailer. Like guys, these quick shots in the trailer that you see Katana's eyes turning black, and she comes from much possessed and has to fight off against the Suicide Squad. I think that would have been pretty cool, and it would just really wrapped it up very well. I feel like for Katana in the movie, she just felt like she was just there. Alright, she's with Rick Flag, assistant, that stuff. She wasn't really interesting. But if you added in all those scenes that are cut, it would be a lot more cooler. And also in those fight scenes, Joker would have been there too. So you would have fight scenes with Joker, Enchantress, Katana. That would have been pretty cool, and it would add into the fact that, oh, this is a Suicide Squad movie, any person can die. It would make us believe that, wait, is Katana gonna get killed? Is Killer Croc gonna get killed? What's gonna go on? Instead of just, oh, Slipknot gets killed and everybody else kind of just survives because the stakes of the whole conflict is not as big because it feels like everything is cut out. It feels like a bunch of different scenes were cut out, and it removes parts of the storyline that is just so important. Now, there is one thing that David Ayer did say that he kept in, that he was happy from his vision that WB allowed him to keep in, is the whole El Diablo thing. So his whole storyline. And that was really good. I like that. So if that's what to expect from David Ayer, then I hope they release this stuff too. Because he did El Diablo well. And that's a hard character to do well. Because he's a very obscure character, not really interesting in the comics. But he was good in this film. So could he have done a lot of stuff with Katana, Joker, Harley, Enchantress, Steppenwolf? We don't know. But I hope we find out soon when they announce this David Ayer cut. But yeah guys, that's pretty much the video. Tell me in the comments below what you thought about this whole news. Do you think they should make a David Ayer cut? Do you think it would be pretty cool? Do you think Jared Leto should get his chance at again? Should all his great scenes be released? If they're great, we don't know. Or do you think they should leave this whole Ayer cut on the shelf, just go on with the Snyder cut, and then move on from there? Now, I'm not saying do the Ayer cut, Snyder cut, then make it Justice League 2. No, don't do that. We're already moving on with the DCEU. But I think these directors should get a chance to release the original versions. But yeah guys, if you like the video, give a big thumbs up, new channel, make sure to subscribe so you miss my next DCEU news video. I try to keep you guys up to date every week. Try to keep you up to date so you don't miss out on these big news. But yeah guys, thanks for watching, and peace out.